everybody, welcome back to Roosters, the best location in the known universe on Olentangy River Road in Columbus, Ohio. We are in the Horseshoe Lounge. We have Justin Zwick and Bobby Carpenter. It is their Mailbag Monday, the first of its kind. This is Jess Berman.
Yeah.
I'm Austin Ward. So
you said this was the best place in the known universe.
Yeah.
Is there
what about the unknown?
Let's get into it.
Okay.
So you're talking about Middle Earth? Have you guys heard of that one? It's incredible.
I've seen Lord of the Rings.
I haven't seen that.
There's a Middle Earth there.
So Jay-Z's knowledge of Middle Earth is somehow separate from the commonly known Lord of the Rings.
Why do you think we're not allowed to go to Antarctica?
Exactly. Who knows what's up there? No country can hold state.
One person has went there before, came back, started talking about it. That guy is no longer around. I mean, this was a long time ago.
Wow.
What did he say?
Oh, gosh, you want to get into it? So apparently there's Okay. All right.
Because we're doing a mailbag episode, which we've never done on the live show at Rooster. So we will have an opportunity. All these questions are catered for you two from the subscribers over at ohiostate.rivals.com. And some of them will probably involve us because our readers are psychos, and they will certainly find ways to interject us into weird activities.
They did do that. Okay. They did do that.
Shock of shocks.
Well, listen, folks, I wanted this to be a full live stream show. Berman and I were on board. Austin put the kibosh on it. So, listen, the people want it. They're clamoring for it. Lean into this guy.
We're going to do a live show one of these days. I just won't be able to be on it because I'll have to produce it. But I'm fine with that because I do have some slight fear of letting you just go.
Be in a live show.
Well, because I don't know how quickly I can hit that censor button, but I'm going to do my best.
I thought that the questions would be more geared to Bob's behavior stories from college, and they were not because Jay-Z has become a phenom for Conspiracy Corner. No.
I saw there was a sign up on 23 South as I was driving to Portsmouth that said follow Jay-Z on YouTube, Conspiracy Corner.
Love that.
Yeah,
maybe I should start doing it.
It's worth the advertisement.
It started with just a suggestion that Conspiracy Corner be more frequent.
But we should just start with this one, okay? And then we'll dive into whatever the real questions are.
Is this your question?
This is my question.
Okay.
You saw the woman on the plane 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's in here.
Nobody's seen her since.
Yeah, no one's seen her.
How have we not been able to find her?
This was asked, so you're not the only one.
She's on the manifest, clearly, right? So how come no one's been able to locate her? But
Jay-Z, what are your thoughts on this? This MFer is not real. Shapeshifter, lizard people, what do we think?
Well, if you dig into that one a little bit.
I just like that your mustache makes this feel so much more believable.
Well, I knew Nicole wasn't going to be here, so I went with the mustache. Yeah. So the plane thing, I watched another video. I don't know if you guys, this guy who's sitting behind.
So there's a second camera.
This is a second camera.
See, that's
now there's nothing on camera, but this is the guy saying, I was sitting here.
Audio.
Guy seemed like he was pretty normal, had his hood up, blah, blah, blah. The whole thing goes down.
The Green Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Green Man.
And this guy on the plane, or he says he was on the plane, had some video.
Says he was on the plane. That's
fair. I mean, we don't know in today's world. I mean, everything is conspiracy. But he says the guy turned around, gave him a wink. But not up and down.
Now, I want to be clear about something.
I'm just this is a guy who says he was on the plane, saw the whole thing go down, said the guy looked decently normal, just kept to himself, had a hood up, and he gave him a wink.
I am not
a windshield wiper.
I am not a conspiracy theorist in any way, shape, or form.
Sometimes
However,
you are.
I am a due diligencer doer, okay? And I followed up on that video.
Okay. Oh, so you saw that. Okay.
And that gentleman acknowledged that he made it up.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
For TikTok.
And that's fine. I mean, leaving that out, that's just something that was like, okay, well, maybe.
Did then the guy who said he was the guy.
Was the lizard guy?
Okay. The guy who said he was a Freemason.
Well,
and they were.
Skulls?
So those people can come out and say whatever they want. We haven't heard from this chick at all.
Which is weird.
100%. It's
somewhere else because she should be capitalizing on this.
People are trying to get her.
She should be selling merch.
To talk, to come on their shows, to say, hey, what really happened here?
What would have to happen today?
What would have to happen for you to get up off of a plane? And I mean, something went down.
It depends on what you've ingested. You may be more susceptible.
She didn't seem like she was on too many.
She wasn't slurring, so she wasn't obviously over.
She was concise. She was concise.
She was exactly.
And at that point in time, your adrenaline's going. I mean, you're out of that state.
So my question was initially when we got to this was, did she see someone who actually wasn't there, or was she saying that someone that everyone else could see wasn't real? Which that's what it turned out to be. There was a person.
Yeah.
that she saw that everybody else could acknowledge, but she didn't deem him to be a real human, Homo sapien, if you will. So I don't know.
She had some interaction with him.
She did.
To where it's enough to say, I'm getting off this plane. I mean, if you'd have been on that plane, what would you have done?
I would have went and talked to the guy.
I would have maybe checked him out.
Yeah.
Like, hold on, what's she talking about here? Let's figure this out.
Let's give her the benefit of the doubt.
Do I need to get off this plane too? Because I don't want something crazy happening.
How many rosés do you have to have in the airport saloon to get
I'm
to
going to be
that
honest.
junction?
Yesterday, I had about 6 boozy popsicles and about 9 mom waters, and I still wasn't
On
even
a
close to that.
Sunday.
You
level.
still didn't see a fake person.
No. I've been trying to find them.
Yeah, well.
I will say this,
That's
though.
the shortcut.
When my dad, this is probably why I've never really, I like visiting California, never lived there. My dad played for the Rams his final season. He lived in Laguna Hills, nice little area. Said he didn't get to see the Sierra Nevadas till like halfway through the season due to the smog that was covering them up.
Just like outside here.
Walked
today.
out one day, he's like, holy
Wonder
smokes,
what
there's
that
mountains
is.
there. But they live beside a guy, really nice, as he would let my brother and my mom go swim in their pool. And I was like, you never really put a finger on what exactly he did for a living. And one day, he's like, it was off day, and comes downstairs, pounding on the door about 8 o'clock. Help me, I need help. And my mom's like, what's going on? She like didn't want to let him in because he seemed a little disturbed. My dad's like, it was my off day, came downstairs, made sure you guys were like 3 and 1, locked away. And he's like, you got to help me. There's these little people, these little green guys, they're in my house.
Okay.
They're all over the place. And he's like, look at them. They're working on my weight room equipment. They're swimming in the pool in the back. All over. My dad's like, all right, well, come on. We'll
Go check this out.
check this out.
Clean them up.
Call the police.
Uh-huh.
My man, I mean, he was a big-time drug dealer. So, you know,
What was Merlin Olsen on that day?
getting high on his own supply, I guess.
His
But
own-
my dad's like, Everest at that point, he's like, 6 months, traffic, smog. He goes, there's some nice things about it, but there's a lot of weirdos out there.
Well, there is. I mean, we've seen the videos. I mean, you saw the one, where was it? It was out west somewhere where the cops actually saw the thing in the
Las
sky
Vegas.
and there's somebody in my backyard or something in my backyard.
Here is my concern with the emergence of all this UFO conversation.
They just acknowledge. They finally have acknowledged it.
Are UFOs like tornadoes in that they only happen in America? Because I don't understand.
No, there's
Nova Scotia's huge for
There-
UFOs.
But
other militaries have found through sonar on their subs something moving like 200 miles an hour under the water. We've seen the videos of them coming in and out of the water at whatever speed.
I just don't believe anything I see anymore. So
but that's multiple different militaries that have seen those types of things,
if there's
not
one thing I
knowing
know
what
for
it is.
sure, it's that the military-industrial complex won't lie to all of us.
Yep.
They are always
Oh, they're
entirely honest and
Yeah.
upfront.
100%.
Let's get to actual questions
Yeah, okay.
from our subs.
Well, those were actual questions. They wanted multiple.
Let's get to football.
I want to
people
find
turn-
that
How
chick
about
because
Carrot
I want to.
Carrot Top was on this flight. Did you
That's-
know
No,
that?
no. Again, it's all.
That
made
was
up.
him
What?
talking
Oh.
over the
Him
video.
just
I believe,
taking
right?
the video.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem. People can just take a video
No,
and make it.
he said he was.
He
I
was-
believe Carrot Top.
You should never.
You should never believe Carrot
Always
Top.
believe Carrot Top.
He's fake ass Gallagher. Anyway, go ahead.
That's a strong take.
He's a beefed up Gallagher.
He is pretty big.
all-
Yeah,
yeah.
he's
R.I.P.
ripped, right?
Gallagher. the original.
Carrot Top's act at least like the props meant something. It wasn't just smashing watermelons.
Oh God, we found the world. I should have known. Look at his hair color. You knew it.
They got to stick together.
Guy loves Carrot Top.
It's ginger.
I didn't say that I love him. I think he's clearly a more skilled prop comedian than Gallagher.
Well, Gallagher was the guy who led the
led the charge.
The charge. He began the foray into prop comedy.
They
fine.
hold
I
these
said-
sheets up in the first couple rows
He's
because
the
you're about to
original.
get doused.
Fine.
He's a copy of a copy.
Well, then Carrot Top took it further.
It's like the dude who was on the plane, a copy of a human.
That's right. All right. How much crap did you give AJ Hawk for dating Brady Quinn's sister in the days before the 2006 Fiesta Bowl? And what did AJ say to Brady after he sacked him twice?
You know what? AJ was probably the worst trash talker ever. I mean, it was just so
Quiet and
yeah. You know, he didn't,
just,
he didn't talk at all.
oh, gotcha.
He would be. He would always ask him. I remember one time some guy said something. He's like, bleep you, and I'm like, just like that was like all he's like. That's all I could muster.
That's all I got.
I had nothing. I had nothing else.
It's a classic, though.
I mean, you know what? Because we had hung out with Laura and everything and been around her. I mean, it was. I don't think there was anything weird about it. I mean, she was coming over to the hotel and stuff beforehand and hanging out
Mm-hmm.
and whatever. May have got stopped by Bob Tucker one time.
Oh, I'm sure.
Thought she may have been an escort or something.
Just hiding under the covers. Who's under there?
No, like walking back through to the.
Well, I mean, that's
so. But there wasn't really no.
Would she have the Notre Dame stuff on there?
Oh, she was.
It was the split jersey. She was wearing it around the hotel.
She wore it every day. Actually.
Every day.
No, she only wore that in the game. I tried to get to find it. He goes, it's somewhere in our house.
They have to have it.
Yeah, I tried to get her to wear it to the game last year. She wouldn't do it. There's always this year. We got another chance.
Yeah, we got another chance.
Put it on the kids. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think AJ was much of a trash talker.
No, terrible. The worst.
Just quiet.
How's he gone from being quiet and reserved to
being quiet and reserved?
Well, he's like
he's still quiet and
he's
reserved.
like a Pat McAfee sidekick
He's
superstar.
the co-host on like the world's biggest.
100%.
Show.
It's amazing.
But he doesn't talk much.
Well, that's the thing. It's
how
very,
it works.
It's very precise and targeted. Some people, they like to go out there with the 50 cal and just spray and try to hit everything. AJ's more like the sniper in the bell tower.
100%.
He's like he's Jim Halperting the whole time, just making random faces and then
acting like he doesn't know what's going on with anything. Huh? What?
Then all of a sudden, he just like with surgeon-like precision, just slices somebody up right there.
He does. It's a very interesting combination.
Yeah,
but it works because Pat likes to talk.
Yeah, I don't think anybody envisioned that career pivot for AJ.
No,
but
it's worked out and it's awesome.
Also, apparently playing some pretty good golf.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Playing great. He
watched a little bit.
Finished 46th.
Oh, he was outside of 45. That was some charitable money.
Is that the charitable
45?
Yeah, he probably blew it.
Smart.
Got too aggressive.
Yeah, probably did it on purpose.
Jeez.
Have to deal with that on the taxes.
All right, an actual football question for Jay-Z to be honest. How many times have you watched your peel back block versus Oklahoma State?
Oh gosh, I forgot about that.
I mean, back in the day, I probably watched it a little bit, but I haven't seen it. We were so old that hardly any of our highlights are on the internet nowadays. Yeah. So it's like we don't get to see them. They're not HD for sure, but that was fun. I remember standing in the huddle, not calling a play, just to watch it on the big screen during the game. It's like, hold on, guys. Let's watch this.
When you watch that now, how bad do you think that would hurt you if you tried to do that today?
Well, he didn't see it coming, and that would have been a penalty in today's game more than likely.
You deserve
on the quarterback
for
on the quarterback for a crackback block on a defensive lineman.
There's no way they're calling that.
There's a lot of people who don't understand the dynamic of sport in the proper context, who don't understand how important it was that you played in that game. Like how valuable your contribution that entire game was. So I just
shouldn't have been putting his body on the line.
That's what I'm saying. Like he was banged up going into it.
Somewhere else.
He was banged up going into it. I mean, when Ted Ginn was playing quarterback at times in that game,
I pulled my hamstring. I had black and blue hamstring at halftime. I mean, I'll never forget this. The play after I pulled it, I threw like a 5-yard out and fell down. It was like, oh my gosh! I fell to the ground. Like, oh my.
Like, we're screwed. This is bad.
Yeah, because Beckman was gray shirting, so they didn't want to waste his year.
Yeah. Under no circumstances you go in this
going
game.
into that game, we knew, like, man, if I go down, we got to have somebody. And Teddy was a quarterback in high school, so they kind of put him back there and did that. And they actually had to use it. Now, we would have probably used it anyways, just as a changeup. But, I mean, I remember
by
that
use it, you mean just snap it to him and let him run?
Oh, yeah, just let him run, yes. I mean, not throw the ball at all. Teddy, keep it in.
Jim Tressel, huge proponent of the Wildcat.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was like, this is the play. I looked at that. I'm like, this is it. This is what we got. They said there wasn't even
everybody
like
blocked
a fake handoff. He just got it and just looked
around. Tried to find a hole to run through.
That game forever cemented my opinion that Les Miles was a bad coach.
Terrible.
Yet, like, then he went on to like become a guy winning national championships.
No national championship. Listen, they had some of the most talented players around. We kind of blew that game. But any other coach probably would have won 3 or 4 during his 10-year run there at LSU with the guys that he had.
He got the bare minimum out of a talent
stacked
surplus.
roster. Yes.
All right. Was there a guy you were surprised didn't have more success at Ohio State? Non-injury related, they qualify. And the flip side, someone who had more success than you expected at Ohio State.
Non-injury related, so that's because usually that is what kind of derails. Guys,
golly. In our time of playing, like our teams?
I think that's what they want.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
We'll go with someone who I thought would have maybe had more success. It's tough because I feel like this is
an insult. Yeah.
It's an indictment on people either way.
Yeah.
Either A, I didn't think you were going to be that good and you turned out to be better. Or B, you should have been better than what you were. I will say that the guy... I don't even know if it's injury related. It's simply just
I got him.
who should have been better because he started some as a freshman for us. And a guy I really enjoyed, E.J. Underwood was a corner for us. He was 6'1", dude could fly.
Yeah,
He ended up playing 5 years in the NFL somehow. His brother ended up playing like 5 years, won a Super Bowl with the Packers. His brother transferred to Cincinnati and somehow had gotten some shenanigans down there. I mean, EJ, I don't know where he went after here.
Yeah.
I mean, EJ was a smart dude, did not really care to go to class.
Did not care. Loved the party.
Yes.
Did not want to go to class.
He was a fun dude to hang around with.
100%.
Really fun guy because he was your last phone call if you wanted to go out and couldn't find anyone else. EJ, you knew EJ had something.
He's
to
on. He was already doing something. You're just joining.
Exactly. Whatever. It didn't matter. Game for anything. And one of the most gifted athletes I had ever seen. I mean, he started as a freshman. And the reason why they had to move Chris Gamble over is like Rich McNutt had ulcers from taking 47 grams of hydrocodone and NSAIDs every day to play on his ankle. And then they put EJ in like, hey, this guy's pretty good. And we're playing like the 4th or 5th game of the year, 3rd game. And EJ shows up late to our Friday meeting. Like, you're starting corner as a freshman.
100%.
He's like,
100% believe that.
Just cruised in. I'm like, oh God. Like, I was so scared of D'Antonio as it was.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And he just
EJ was not.
No.
He was not scared of anybody.
And I don't know if that's due to an ignorance or just your own confidence. I'm not sure which.
Yeah, one or the other.
It's a dangerous mixture.
It really was.
It's a fine line.
And then the next year he was going to start again and would have been out there. And you remember he hit that dude with a bottle.
Oh.
Allegedly.
Well, I mean,
there's no video of it.
There is no video, but he did have the laceration in his thumb. And
he did have that, yes.
He had surgery, so he couldn't play the rest of the year.
Yeah. As somebody who's been hit over the head with a bottle before, I'm going to tell you that is not something that either party should be involved in.
No. And I'm like,
it's dangerous for everyone.
What are you doing? I mean, it's just, and then our junior year, he ended up playing.
Think there are people signing up to get hit?
I do.
I don't know.
There are people who will do anything.
He was really gifted, man.
Yeah, he was.
If you would have told me that, like, he would have been out of Ohio State or been a first-round draft pick, I would have said the heavy favorite would have been a first-round draft pick.
Yeah. To me, like, from those era, it was, even though he did play in the NFL also, it was Thaddeus Gibson. Like, he was just such a different type of athlete.
Yeah.
Just a different type of
athlete. He was a little younger, but yeah.
And you would have thought that he would have been able to, like, just have a role that would have seen him being very, very impactful as a player. And it just, Rob Rose was another one a little later than you guys.
Ray Small.
Vern, Vern had a great career. He was 6. I was thinking more in the NFL at that point in time. I was going to go. I got a couple guys. Devin Lyons. You guys remember that name?
Devin Lyons. He's so great. Don't you hate?
Yeah, he was awesome kid.
Safety from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, big receiver.
Receiver.
Yeah, he played receiver, and I thought
his dad looked like Sugar
going into his first year, like he was around for summer practices and whatnot. He was just a big, skilled receiver. And Ray Small is another one. Once I saw him run, I'm like, that's the first person I've ever seen kind of resemble Teddy as far as his stride and just the way he looked when he took off. And I thought, not that he played and had some highlights and whatnot, but they just kind of never got out of the doghouse or Devin I think did have a foot injury or an ankle injury that kind of sidelined him a little bit, but Ray just couldn't get out of his own way. But those are two guys I remember thinking these kids are going to be good. When they were young, as my senior year, I think summertime.
It speaks to talent. Ray still got a shot in the NFL. I mean,
really, I mean, watching him run,
those guys, they never decided they wanted to be good.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
I thought Berm was going to say Tathan.
No, I'm not going to talk. That's recency bias.
Tathan.
It is.
Tathan Martell.
Oh yeah. Oh jeez, come on now.
All right. Let's see. I'm trying to get some more from Jay-Z before he gets out of here to play some golf this afternoon. Mm-hmm. We're very jealous of that. What is your honest expectation for this season, Jay-Z?
How about dishonest expectation?
Yeah. Well,
they don't want you to lie.
We have all the ingredients to be really great this year. I think whatever happens with the offensive line is going to dictate how good we are. If we're able to give the new quarterback, whoever it is, time to get through their progressions, to do the things that they need to do back there, then I don't see us missing a step. We've seen quarterbacks come through with Ryan Day, and it doesn't look like we have, we don't fall off. So it's like, it may take him a couple games to really start feeling it, whoever the starter is. But if that offensive line can give them time, we have so many weapons on the offensive side of the ball. I think our defense is going to be great this year. I think, we saw a jump last year. Everybody wants to go to the Michigan game, a couple miscues at the end. We were better, and that's all that's important.
As a quarterback, a right-handed quarterback especially, are you more concerned about having a new starting left tackle or a new starting center? Which is a bigger deal for you?
Left tackle. I think
obviously the shotguns. So
as I imagine these guys can shotgun snap. Yeah. Whoever's going to play. So that I don't think is an issue. I think you can. I think you can hide somebody in the middle of the offensive line a little bit easier as long as they're not absolutely terrible getting bull rushed by somebody. That left tackle, you're out on an island, and you're going to get everybody's best shot, whoever they have on their defensive line that can maybe beat you. And so I think that left tackle, blindside, all that good stuff, meeting you at the top of the, you see someone coming here, that's okay. You can make something happen, but you don't see that person back there coming as you take your drop. It could be bad. Now, again, I've had them come from both angles before. Yes. Now they might throw you into the quarterback from the front side for a sack, but
at least you can see it coming. So
at least you can see it coming. Exactly. The backside, Mario Williams got me one time down at NC State. That's not fun.
No.
But I think it all comes down to them, and I think we're going to be okay there. I mean, Fryer's on the left side. We got this. I don't know who's going to be the right side, but
Simmons.
Probably Simmons would be my guess. He's got some playing experience, and he's just going to get better as the year goes, I'm sure.
All right. The last one before we take a break and Jay-Z gets out of here. You guys were asked for your expertise if you had to play me, Berm, and Bill anywhere on the football field for Ohio State. I don't know why Ohio State fans are asking for the three of us to be in the lineup.
Where would you guys
imagine?
You weren't allowed to put us on special teams,
which I wouldn't want to be.
What position on offense or defense would you deploy the three of us?
Oh gosh,
big moment here.
I think Austin would have to be like a fullback.
I could put Bill at probably just like Shea, put him on the nose. Shea, just be a space eater.
Yeah.
Where is Bill, by the way?
He's on vacation. He's got his week off before.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's a good spot for him. Probably clog up that middle there and just make them pay attention to him.
If I could get Berm back to his his weight back in the day, and then maybe him and Bill.
Do we have a weight loss? I didn't know.
Oh yeah, Berm used to weigh over 3 bills.
Get out.
I mean, not that high, but
maybe him and Bill right there in the middle.
You told me
no, it was not that high, but
I could have taken you from 280 to 320, and then we could have put you beside Bill.
Yeah.
And then you guys could just been space eaters.
Oh, that's the goal. All right, somewhere where
you got Austin.
We don't have to.
You got Austin in the middle of the defense, Mike linebacker, just playing off of those two.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. You guys have seen how fast these guys are.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to put you at something where the speed deficit won't be extreme.
That's really smart.
I mean, I'm not asking you to chase or run around anybody. I mean, we could maybe put you at an H-back, Austin.
Yeah, H-back, up man on the punt team. Now, I know they said no special teams, but I think you got that.
You got to make an exception here.
We lost Rossi, right?
Yeah.
I think you'd fill right in on that.
You could do a little bit with Mitch.
Mitch Rossi, yeah.
I would be honored.
I think that's you all
maybe
day.
Not well, but we could get you in there.
I'm not suggesting that I could be a like-for-like replacement, and no one should think that. Yeah, no one should think that. But, I have some things in common with Mitch.
You're a state championship golfer. You're an athlete.
We both lived in Tennessee. We both like to play golf. I love the fullback position. He played the fullback position. I think we're set.
I don't even know if people would be able to tell the difference if you were out there instead of him.
Just throw a 34 on your back there and
easy now.
Let it ride.
Nobody wants to see that. All right, we're going.
I thought we'd have some more flat Earth questions or something like that.
Well, there's more, but I mean, I didn't think you wanted to stay here for another hour.
I wish I could.
Conspiracy corner.
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly find.
We can circle back to it.
There's a whole long off season that we have to, start
get ready for
next year. So.
Yeah.
Well, this one's finally almost over. Next week we'll be talking about a preview.
Your favorite
or Big Ten Media Days. I know Bob is stoked. Tomorrow, however, it's not out here yet, but it will be soon. It's Berm's favorite. It's mac and cheese bites.
Gosh, I love
missing it.
Some mac and cheese bites. They're delicious. Zwick. So you're going to play golf.
I know. When Archie calls, you got to go,
Oh, okay. Look at that.
Bob didn't get that call.
Actually didn't call me. Whoever's running this for him called. But it's his foundation, so I felt like,
You should have just stayed with that.
Well, I didn't want to, I'm an honest person.
He tells the truth.
Yeah.
That's why.
I don't want to sound cooler.
That's why being a conspiracy theorist is so interesting.
Archie probably doesn't know who I am.
Get out of here. Archie knows it.
No, he is good. Yeah, he probably knows everybody.
All right, well, we're going to take a break. We're going to get some food out here for us while Jay-Z goes to play golf, and we're going to be right back into the Horseshoe Lounge at Roosters. It's a fun, casual joint.
Roosters has been so fortunate. We just want to be able to give some of that back to the community.
They donate to organizations that are near and dear to their heart, and we're so fortunate to have been with Roosters now for a long time.
They always go above and beyond to help support our foundation to further help veterans.
It's just a wonderful feeling to know that Roosters supports the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer.
All the folks at Roosters are just genuinely kind folks, and they want to make a difference.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
All right, welcome back into the Horseshoe Lounge at Roosters. Bobby Carpenter staying with us. There are more questions from the mailbag to dive into. This one was asked specific to you, Bob, so that also helps. Where everyone knows that you spend a decent amount of time in the Woody working out and being around some of those guys. So
That's where I come from every Monday, Austin. I'm nice and sweaty.
That's why he doesn't have a shirt underneath that jacket.
Out of the
Can't even
tub.
tell that.
Out of the cold tub, right?
Now they know.
Now they know.
Must be hanging out.
Don't spell all of his
We had
secrets.
to go earlier today. I didn't get a cold tub in. I've got to hit it on the way back.
No cold tub yet. All right.
It makes it worse when you just have to go into the cold tub cold.
Yeah, it's better hot.
What do you think, or do you think the mentality of this team is different than 2021 or 2022? How would you compare them as this team is getting ready for training camp?
I think each team always is going to be different, just simply due to like the composition, how it's comprised, the leadership, and you can have a lot of the same players, but they're not going to be the same person year over year due to the experience they have. 2021 coming out of COVID and everything was just so different and unique. And there's obviously some issues defensively, and it felt a little bit, I don't want to use the term rudderless. It didn't seem as like concise and mission driven. Where last year I felt that it was, and I felt it was like driven to the point almost that you get to the final game of the season and there was just so much of a build up on it, which is good, focus, but I mean you can't let the weight of it, the pressure I think, get to you a little bit, which seemed like maybe it happened. But there was a degree of work and focus last year that I was really impressed with. I mean, this year I think you're looking at a group of guys. And you have a couple, guys who have played for 3 years. Your Eichenbergs, your Chambers, Cade Stover. Marvin's been here now. Been playing. A couple of these guys, they've never beat Michigan. So there's guys who have been here 3 and 4 seasons who have never won that game. I think that there is an emphasis now, like to get that done, and just a focus, not like crazy, but like the leadership element. I love what they have. Like having guys come back for another year helps, especially if they're high quality people and high quality players, because they've been there. Like experience matters in life, good and bad. So it feels like there's, let's say, like an added degree of focus or whatever that is, because like that would imply earlier that that didn't happen. But it seems like there's just a knowledge base and an understanding and like
a redirection of the focus,
reorientation. I don't know, because it's like to say, well, there's a sense of urgency now. Like that's to imply, well, yeah, everyone showed up 5 minutes late and just chill mode all. That was not the case. Yeah. But it feels like the guys, like it's a mission purpose driven situation. They understand, hey, I feel like there's a lot of growth that happened between the losses and, Michigan lost, Georgia lost, the year before, just going through all of this stuff and understanding all of that. It feels like that there's just an understanding and maybe more of a quiet confidence about it.
Anecdotally, something that Berm and I have, talked with current players about this summer has nothing to do with their workouts or football. It's been the amount of guys that are playing softball on Friday nights together.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's a togetherness about the group.
And again, the brotherhood existed throughout all these years, and they were close.
The car wash.
It's the margins for error.
Shrek
are slim at the top. But like you also have, guys who have, Jack Sawyer, Kyle McCord, Julian Fleming, these guys playing golf together. You have all these. Like, what does it mean for actual football? I don't know. You may know better than me, but it does seem like this team is finding ways to come together, gel, bond, chemistry, all that stuff that maybe is a little bit different than years past. Not totally different, but different.
I think the fact that they've been together that long, like usually you see guys leave, and a lot of these guys played early, probably some of them before they were ready to, and then some of these guys have stayed. And so you get to be friends with them. And you don't need to be friends with your teammates. You have to respect them. I don't think you need to be best friends with them. But I think a lot of these guys, it helps. And I think a lot of these guys are that now. And so there's an understanding, like, it's weird. I mean, like Schleichs and Age are two of my best friends. I mean, we had Nate Sally. There's a bunch of us. We had it on defense that all hung out together. We're all around each other a lot. And so when you're on the field, like there's an element of communication that happens that's all nonverbal simply because you've seen it, you've watched film together, you've hung out together, and they know like your jokes, they know this and that. And so you can have fun because everybody understands you're seeing the same picture. And there's never really a degree of misunderstanding. Like, well, I thought you were going to do this. I thought, no, I've seen you do it before. We played together a lot. We're hanging out doing this. You made, talking about this joke and this and that and all these other things. And just the basic knowledge of how someone operates. Like, man, they saw that. I know what they're thinking right now.
I also think in some ways, like the leadership hierarchy on the team hasn't changed at all from last year, which is a positive.
It's good.
There was the Kevin Wilson taking the head coaching job at Tulsa, but you bring in Keenan Bailey to fill that spot. And so there's no coaching changes.
Elevate Keenan.
There's no changeover on the defensive staff for the first time in God knows how long. Like, I think all those things matter in a way where players are allowed to feel more comfortable and they know who they're dealing with. They understand the coaches, what the coaches want. The coaches understand what they can get out of certain players. There's just a different dynamic of comfort and personability with everyone that they recognize like who they're working for now and who they're working with. And now maybe that means jack crap in November, but it's been a long time since Ohio State has had, lost 2 games in a row at the end of the season. I think the last time was 2013, right? And when you lost to Michigan State in the Big Ten championship game and then Clemson.
Oh gosh, those are 2 rough ones.
And then 3 out of 4 after Virginia Tech.
Right, and they lost to Virginia Tech, but then they won the national championship, so I guess that worked out. The reality is nobody is going to forget what happened in November and December. So how you use that to build something better is the challenge. But if you talk to these guys on the team like you do, I mean, they're all very comfortable in their own skin, but they know that there's something that they have to work even a little more for.
And I think that, addressing it, there's not an uncomfortability. There's not a bristling about it. It's like when you bring it up, because some people get really defensive. Yeah. And when you're getting defensive about it, I'm like, I don't know if you can truly analyze something about why it happened.
If you're offended by the question.
If you're offended by the question. Yeah. And a lot of it's how the question is sometimes asked.
Sure. But like, why do you guys suck is not the right way to.
Yes, but it's because I told you, like, these two losses against Michigan, they're very different.
Yeah.
They're very different in how they transpired. And one I felt was a physical beating 2 years ago. Last year I felt was a failure of execution at like acute moments that ended up making the game look much different. And I think some of that was, confidence and a tightness where it's like, now you look at this, hey, be better than that. It's fine. It's good. You're going to give up a play. Don't let it be 2. Like, and be able to regroup. And you saw that happen more against Georgia. And then also being in the scheme, comfortably understanding all that. Those things matter as well.
I think it also has a lot to do with the leadership or the comfort at the very top. And I think that if we're talking about last July to this July, Ryan Day was a much more stressed out individual.
Yeah.
And
which you'd think would be the opposite.
Well,
based on the fact that they did lose those 2 games. But he seems to be understanding who he is and what he needs to be a little bit better than he did last year. And some of that's because he has some support on the NIL front that makes him feel like he doesn't have to shoulder all this weight himself. But now that forces the weight to transfer to something else.
Yes. And so I think, the play calling and how that'll be distributed this year, NIL, like it was not set up well last year, much better position here. And so you feel better about recruiting. I mean, there's just, you don't feel like you're getting crushed by 37 different pylons. Like, it's a better situation where it's like, okay, these are the normal things I've had to deal with. Now I can kind of attack them. So I think you see that confidence from him, from the rest of the staff. And then you ultimately see that permeate down to the players.
All right.
Good question.
Yeah, I love that one. For Bob, imagine all the Carpenter boys, each during a period of time where they were in their prime physical shape, step into the ring for a no-holds-barred match.
I can't believe your dad posted this.
In what order are they eliminated, and who is the last man standing?
In what order are they eliminated? Well, my unfortunately, my youngest brother Nathan he was the smallest, so
he gone.
He's getting just simply due to the lack of weight class for this question. I mean, he would be giving up even at his peak, like he was 215. He probably played about 210. I mean, I had 50 pounds on him, so that wouldn't have boded well for him. The answer probably will surprise you. My second brother, John, would probably be the third out. I would be the second. And then my brother, George, probably would win. I wrestled him. My mom wanted him to do something. He wouldn't do it. And he was going to be a senior in high school. He was probably about 220 this time, maybe 218, 220. And I was, after my first year in the NFL, I mean, I was about as good a shape as I had been. I hadn't really been beat up all that much yet, and my body was still pretty good. And I was pretty strong. I was 257. And it took all of my energy to get him down at that point. And I told my mom that might be the last time I can do that.
I'm the seventh of 7 boys in my family, so I'm
seventh son.
I'm familiar with these dynamics. I'm trying to envision a scenario where in your early 20s, your mother asked you to wrestle your
My dad wasn't home. She's like, take care of this.
Like, there was a lot of brotherly shenanigans and fights and amongst my older brothers, especially since I'm 7 years younger than my next oldest brother, or next youngest brother. So I didn't get involved in a lot of the 6-man pileups that they had because there were 6 of them.
You were the official?
Well, there were 6 of them in a total of like 9 years, so they're all very close together. I just can't imagine a scenario where in their post-college days, they're like, well, screw it. We got to wrestle.
I mean,
that sounds amazing.
Well, I don't think the Birmingham family was nearly as athletic as
I disagree.
The Carpenter family.
Maybe we didn't make it to the NFL. We have good athletes in the
I'm
family,
not saying you didn't.
Now, but that's the point. That's even greater to the point that your NFL linebacker son shouldn't be deployed to wrangle and wrestle his younger brother at that moment.
Wouldn't listen. Like, my mom wanted him to do something. I was there. She's like, your dad's not going to take care of it. So, I mean, it took all my juice. And now my kids love telling me, like, who's stronger, you or Uncle George? I'm like, bro, Uncle George weighed probably 30, 28 at his peak. And I'm like, I got a video of him benching like 565. I'm like, he's not a real human.
That
like,
MFR
is not real.
Basically, I'm telling you, I'm like, dude, at my peak, I was not as strong as him. And I weighed like 30 pounds more than he did. And I worked really hard. And now he like lifts once a week and is still like almost that strong. It doesn't make sense.
Now, what if you put your dad in the mix in his prime?
Yeah, my dad, everybody always talked about how tough he was. And I don't know if there's a scenario where you would be able to beat him without probably having to take his life.
Yeah, like there's a difference between being strong and being willing to take a punch over and over.
I mean, I've watched my dad do some stuff. Like,
tough and strong are very different.
Back in the day, I mean, he, when he was playing, I've watched him, and he got his freaking legs smoked by our lawnmower, sliced like half his Achilles, like walked in the house and put some ice on it. And,
those old school guys are a little different.
So, do you want to go to the hospital for that? No, I'm good. I mean, he was just like, the stories that people would tell me, I mean, ridiculous. Yeah. We talk about the hazing and stuff like that. He's like, the stuff that guys used to get done to him back in the 70s.
A little different.
I mean, it was wild. And the stuff that he would play through and different things, I mean, it was insane. So that's why I don't know if you would have to finish him. That'd be the only way. It would be a blood sport style. It would be a blood sport style deal where you'd have to rip a throat. I mean,
did you guys as a family try to create like a finishing move just in case you ever got in fights with like?
No, man. Here's the thing: we didn't fight that much. My younger brothers picked a lot. As they've gotten older, they've gotten in one or two. Where I mean, it's been like, I'll say this: my second brother John, he's scrappy too. I mean, he's another guy where. My two middle, him and George had him, and he knew it at that point. And I mean, I think he may have bitten him and drawn blood out of his mouth. I mean, it looks like a chimp bite on my brother's stomach.
No holds barred in the question.
That's what I'm saying. Like
it happens.
To the point where my dad, when he pulled it was in a car, by the way. When they got to the house, he's like, "Everybody leave.
Go to your separate corners.
You go to your house. Go to your own homes. You're not allowed in my house anymore. Can't be fighting in here and breaking things."
Well, they had their own homes and were biting each other.
These are grown men. These are grown men.
Lancaster does it different.
But then they all got together afterwards for some mac and cheese bites.
Absolutely. Mac and cheese bites. Appetizer $3's day, $3 all day long. Featured appetizer. It's macaroni and cheese you can eat with your hands. Who doesn't love that?
Perfect delivery device.
They're good.
All right.
Check it out.
No easy way to segue into this, but we want to make sure that Our condolences, our hearts and thoughts go out to Carnell Tate and his family. Ashley Griggs, his mom, WGN in Chicago, confirmed that she was killed in a drive-by shooting over the weekend. It's a heartbreaking tragedy. There's no other way to put it. We're not here to talk about anything else other than that. I'm sure that, Bob, you've been in some of these situations with teammates who go through tough times. We all have. You lean on your family, you lean on your brothers and people in the locker room, and this is certainly not going to be an easy time for Carnell.
It's hard. I mean, when you have teammates who lose father, a mother, a grandmother, a sibling, and especially like right now because you're working out together, this season is almost a nice escape because you're busy all the time, and so like you don't have time to sit and think a lot. I mean, you can mourn and then move, and you move fast. And you're with everybody all the time. Like right now, I feel like it's tough because they're working out, but you got a lot of free time other than that.
Right.
To kind of you're watching film and hanging out, but it's not like you're in this intense pressure cooker crucible. So my heart goes out to him, man. He's a great young man. He's done a great job here. I can't imagine the loss of a parent, and then at this time going in to go play a season, and so I know he'll be leaning on his teammates a lot. Rob Sims, a teammate of mine, lost his dad when he was in the NFL, and it was a year or two after, we was in college. We were in college, and so like everybody's texting him. You're just trying to do as much as you can, but it's tough to try to fill that void, especially when you're that young. And a lot of times it's loss of life that's maybe it's something that's abrupt like a heart attack, but you have about prolonged sickness or something like that. But with something like this, it's just very abrupt. And I don't know if that makes it better or worse, easier or harder. So just your heart goes out to the guy, man. It'll be a lot on his teammates to make sure that he's in a good spot.
Yeah, she was around quite a bit for the recruitment in Columbus and around Brian Hartline. So she had already, for a true freshman like Carnell Tate, had already made herself, at home with Ohio State.
Well, it's one of those things where a lot of times the real difference in the program is parents who ingratiate themselves to the other parents and make sure that they're involved with the fans. And she was great with that. I talked to her a number of times during Carnell's recruitment, and always thought really highly of her, and it's I don't know, you don't really know what else to say in that situation.
Yep, we don't have to say anything other than we hope the best, and our hearts go out to Carnell Tate and Griggs family and everybody else involved. There's nothing more to say about that. Nothing more to say in here on Roosters on a Monday. We will leave it there. We'll be back next week. Big Ten Media Days will be coming. We'll be talking about football and not mailbags. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you have a great week. That's Bob and Berm. Thanks to Jay-Z. I'm Austin. We'll talk to you next week.